Hello everyone, my name is Abigail McDowell and I am starting this Child of Light series to tell you all about my journey from the United States to Mexico to be a teacher there. So a lot of you might be wondering, why in the world are you moving to Mexico to be a teacher? You can be a teacher here in Alabama. There's lots of jobs. And that is so true. But it's a calling. Teaching is a calling in general. And I believe that God is calling me to teach in a variety of other places. To give you a little bit of background about myself, I'm from Oxford, Alabama. If you don't know where that is, find a map. Birmingham, Atlanta, smack in the middle, that's Oxford. It's a pretty small town. And then I went to Jacksonville State University, which is a pretty small college. So I have been small town all my life, and I kind of don't like it. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. I think it's wonderful and it has its purpose, but I am so ready to experience new things and get out of this town and see what the rest of the world is like, because it's so big. It's so big and there's so many things out there, and I can't wait to start seeing them. And this is step one for me. So I started at Jacksonville State University in fall of 2017, and I started as a music education major. Quickly realized that wasn't what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be with little kids, and there's not a lot of music education jobs there, so I quickly changed my major to early childhood education. I loved it. But there I also very quickly realized that I did not want to be in the same elementary classroom from the first year I taught until the year that I retired. And I don't mean physically, and I don't mean grade-wise, and I don't mean school-wise. I mean, I did not want to be doing the same thing every day until I was 65 years old. Some people do. Some people, it is 100% everything that they love, and they do it, and they love it, and I have so much respect for them. But that's just not me. I can't do the same thing for that long. So I started hardcore praying, God, what am I going to do? Because I can't change careers every 2 years. Not very smart to do. Also makes it very hard to establish any sort of family or anything like that in the future. So I was really like, God, what is going on here? Because I know I can't do this forever, but I also know that I have to do something forever. Like, there's got to be something that's got enough difference in it to keep me, contained. So I was really praying and seeking God about this, and just like, please show me what you want me to do, because I know your plan for me is the way that I will, find fulfillment in life, and it's the only way that any of us will. So I just wanted him to show me what he wanted me to do. So at JSU, there's a ministry called Engage. I went there every Monday night from the time I started till the time I graduated. I loved it. And one Monday night, there was someone speaking about a missions project that they had the opportunity to go on in India. And I'd always been like a little interested in mission work, but I'd never been super serious about it. And it was kind of like, oh, I love that. I wish I could do that, but never acted like I actually could. When in reality, there was nothing stopping me from doing that. So that night, it just hit me really hard. Hey, Abby, you know why you can't be happy doing one thing forever? Because you're not going to do one thing forever. You need to be doing this. You need to be going different places, meeting different people, and taking Jesus everywhere you go, and just taking it to as many people as you possibly can. And I was like, okay, God, I got it. So I always say that, like, it's the two M words for me, missions and music. Those are like my two big things. So then I started saying, okay, so I'm going to do mission work. What next? Because I'm in the middle of a degree. I'm obviously not getting up and moving to a different country right now. I was on scholarship, and there's just so many things going on. It was not a time for me to leave, and I knew that. He was only giving me those two ideas because it wasn't time for me to know the big picture yet. So I spent a lot of time praying, because I am a planner, and I did not like not knowing what I was going to do. I had an idea, but I didn't have any specifics. I couldn't start preparing, nothing. So I was praying a lot about, please give me something, give me something to go off of. So just to give myself a little bit of peace of mind, I started looking into all the different programs that give you ways to teach in other countries with mission work, because that was what my degree was early childhood and elementary education. And there were a lot of places that hooked you up with schools. Some of them were like completely voluntary and you funded yourself, and some of them were paid salary, and just all sorts of things. And so that, gave me a little bit of, I could calm down for a little while. I was like, okay, well, at least this degree will, allow me to do that one day. So I just started chugging away, at my degree, just getting stuff done and doing my homework and not really worrying about it too much. And then I suddenly realized that I was graduating in like 8 or 9 months. I should probably do something to get ready for getting a job in another country, because it takes a lot of preparation to move to another country. So I started filling out profiles through a few different organizations, and I heard back from a school in Mexico. And I didn't really think too much about it at the time. I saw the offer and it was for that school year and I wouldn't have graduated yet. And so I told them, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing, but I won't be out of school yet. Can y'all keep me in mind for next year or something like that? And they were like, yeah, sure. We'll keep this application on file and we'll contact you. Great, right? So after that conversation though, I was like, man, Mexico really does sound like where I need to be. I've always felt kind of drawn to Hispanic culture, and like I love the language. And I know this is a silly example, but when I was in high school and took Spanish, I was really good at it. I picked it up really quickly, which at this point in time I barely remembered any of it because high school Spanish is not conversational and it had been years since I'd used any of it. But I still felt really drawn to it, and I thought to myself, if it doesn't work out with this school, I think Hispanic countries are the ones that I want to end up at. And I also had a placement, a practicum placement. For those of you that don't know anything about education, that's when you go in and you mainly observe a teacher, but you do teach a few lessons as well. And so I had a placement, and there's a little boy that had just moved from Guatemala. And this little boy could not speak English, like at all. He could say bathroom, and he could say help, and that's about it. And but he had my heart, every piece of it. And he could read in Spanish. So he could read English because most of the sounds are very similar. So he could read in English, but he'd have no clue what it meant. So I spent every day at lunch with this little boy, and I would just sit there and Google Translate, which is very inaccurate for full sentences, but you can get words. And we would just swap words back and forth. And I would try to make conversations out of it, and he'd look at me like I'm crazy. Miss McDowell, that is not how you say that. But it was so much fun, and I loved it. And I just realized how much of a heart I had for his culture. And so when this school reached out to me, it kind of reminded me of that. And I was like, yeah, this could be good. Well, I started looking into the school more and more, and there were so many things that were just like, my supervisor in my internship calls them God winks, and I love that. So that's what I call them now too, God winks. But and one of those was the school's motto. It was, "Come, let's walk in the light." Well, as many of you probably know, there's a Bible verse that talks about walking as children of light, and those little letterboard things where you like put the individual letters on them. I had one of those, and a few months before this, I had set it up and I used that verse. I put, "Walk as children of light." And then the school reaches out to me, and that's their motto. And I was like, man, I really do need to keep this school in mind and, make sure they know that I'm actually interested. So I kept up with them and all that kind of thing. Well, they ended up reaching out to me a lot sooner than expected to ask about me interviewing. And I was like, it's kind of soon for an interview. This is over a year away. And they're like, no, actually, we're wanting you to start halfway through this next school year. So that being January of 2021. And this was in June or July, I think. It was pretty late in the summer, I believe. So it must have been July. But anyways, so I interviewed with them, met all of them. They're super nice. It was a Zoom call, unfortunately, but that's okay. You gotta do what you gotta do. So I met all of them. They were super nice, and I just felt so good about everything that we talked about. And so they got back with me a week later and offered me the job. And I was like, this is fast. This is a lot. Like, I'm actually about to move to another country. So I, of course, took I think I took like 4 or 5 days and just really prayed about it and told God, like, hey, this isn't what you want me to do. Now is the time to let me know. And anyways, I just kept praying about it, and it just kept seeming like the right thing. And so I went ahead and accepted the job. But with the understanding between God and I that if anything didn't work, if anything just was red flag to me and I felt like I misunderstood and this really isn't what I was supposed to be doing, and then I could do that, you know. Then they're super great and understanding, and they know that things come up, and so they've been wonderful. But it has been such a process, and there's so many things that are so hard about it, but it's so exciting. Like I can't believe I'm actually moving to another country. Like I graduate December 11th, and I'll be teaching a class in Mexico January 11th. It's insane to me. But anyways, long story short, that's what I want this series to be about. I just want it to be about, you know, how I'm preparing, what it's been like with my family getting ready for it, how I'm planning to pack, how I'm learning the language, how things are going to be when I arrive, you know, all the kinds of things that I'm having to change, what kind of products am I using, what am I stocking up on and bring with me, and what am I going to order when I get there, and just there's so many things to think about, and I just felt like sharing it. And not only that, but once I get over there, I will be continuing this series, and I'll be talking about the things I experienced while I'm there. So I am so thankful for you watching this entire 12-minute video, because I'm sure there are parts where you thought, wow, this girl needs to shut up, but that's okay. But I'm really excited about this journey, and more importantly, I'm really excited to see what God does with it, and to see how me sharing this with others can help inspire others to do what God is calling them to. So I hope to see you next time.